Yo, I'm gonna change these titles. Chill coding. That's what we're doing. All right. How are we sounding? Good. Let's check. YouTube. YouTube. Seems alright, maybe a bit far away from me. That should be better. Test 1, 2, there we go. Run this front end. Okay. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I don't know why. Gustavo, what's up? Welcome. All right. Chillin'. Hi, bro. Hey, thanks for joining the stream. If there's anything you'd like to see, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just be chilling, doing some work on my project. What am I coding? I'm making this MMO game. I'll show you. It's called Berry Game. Kind of like RuneScape. I don't know if you've ever played RuneScape. That's my aim. Recently I've been working on the damage, so right now if I attack this player, you'll see here that she takes damage and loses health. And those were made with these two commits right here on this damage run branch. Make that a bit bigger for you guys. So I did want to explain the code that I have changed. So let's have a look here. This program is Fork. I have a video on it. It's for like visualizing version control, like Git. And so I've branched off main here to do my damage number feature. So if we look, I made a first attempt yesterday before midnight, where I modified 5 files and added 1 damage number. So this is built in React, and this damage number that you would have seen previously that comes off like a little damage ticker is with a component here, a React component called damage number. Just drinking some green tea. Helps me get calm. Bro, this is just awesome. Oh, thanks for the nice comment, Gustavo. If you want to play this, you can play it at alpha.berrygame.com. I think this works, so if you go online on this website, I'll be able to see you. And you can chat. I'll just make another one here. I can be like, yo, Gustavo. And it says it on both. Well, only on that character that I'm logged into. Gustavo asks, are you doing this React with Three.js? Yeah, so I'm using a React package called React 3 Fiber, which is, uses Three.js. These people, PMNDRS, they are so awesome. It's like an open source community, and they've made all these React 3 Fiber, Dre, Zoostand. They're all great. I've only used some of them, but yeah. what was I doing? Oh yeah, showing the code. So yeah, the damage number, that worked out kind of well. If you see here with the class name, I actually have a random boolean by doing math.random. If it's less than 0.5, it'll be true. If it's greater than 0.5, it'll be false. And that's how I found out how to do a random boolean, because math.random returns a number between 0 and 1. Yeah, and then depending on whether that's true or false, I have these two animation classes that I add to this class. So one time the damage ticker goes left, one time it goes right, and I've done that with keyframes in CSS. So with keyframes it's pretty cool. You can set more than 2, but here I've just got a start and end keyframe for this animation called damage number 1, and I rotate from 0 degrees to 40 degrees, and I translate 45 degrees to 45 pixels to 85 pixels. So what that does is it starts from 0 degree rotation, which is just pretty much standing straight, and 45 pixels offset on the x-axis, and then it kind of rotates and drifts off the x-axis 40 degrees, and also the opacity goes to 0, so it has this fade out effect. So every time someone gets hit, you kind of see a little tick of damage. I'll show you here one more time. This is my local. I'll refresh this and make a new tab, and then if I attack this player on the left here, you'll see, yeah, these numbers coming off to the side, indicating how much damage it has been dealt. Yeah, so at the moment it's only being dealt for the player that's like receiving the damage. So the player that's giving the damage actually doesn't see any numbers. So I'm going to fix that. And obviously we need some kind of death animation or something to happen if the player reaches 0 health. But before that, I actually wanted to do some refactoring as well. And before that, I was going to show the commits and some of the coding stuff that I got into and how I did it and how I thought about it. Gustavo asks, this is the first time I saw this with just JS and CSS, bro. This is amazing. Awesome, man. I'm glad I inspired you or entertained you. Yeah, there's not many people that make games with just CSS and JavaScript. A lot of people like to use engines, and it does make the job a whole lot easier, but I chose to do yeah, like purely web tech to just make it the best for web. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, player.controller. Here I had this damage queue. This is where I got into some real trouble, because I was trying to reset the queue with a set timeout, but due to this thing called closures, it's like really hard to manage React hooks with timeouts, or at least I struggle. So I did some research, and they said use a ref, and you got to update the ref every time damage queue changes. So I tried that, but it was still not playing very nicely. So instead of using a queue, I just have this one current damage hook now. And this works nicely. It might bite me in the back in the future, but we'll find out later. So I'm gonna hop out of fork and go into VS Code now so we can start refactoring. Might close up these windows. Alright, I know this will be a bit small for you guys, so I'm gonna zoom in. That should be better. Alright, so pretty much I want to clean up this file ultimately. There's 253 lines, which isn't too bad, but I think it can be a lot shorter. There's a lot of repeating code with this. Player controller is the player that's actually playing, and then I have another component called render other user. And there's a lot of Let me just see if I can put this to the side. There's a lot of like similar code, and I want to, there's a principle with programming called DRY principle, DRY, and that stands for don't repeat yourself. If you want to write clean code, there should be like methods that are shared and stuff that's shared, so you don't always have these duplicates of the same code. One of the reasons for that is if you want to make a change to something, which happens all the time, you'll have to go through and make changes to every single piece of the code that does the same thing. Whereas if they were all using the same method or same class or whatever, they would all just be updated in the same go. So let's see it's really hard to refactor your own code as well sometimes, because you don't know what you don't know, and like you've given it your best shot to write it how it is. Luckily there's tools like ChatGPT now that could help, so I might end up having to try that. Alright, straight away, if you have a linter, you can see that like it gives you some suggestions if there's some opportunities for refactoring. Like for instance, this is declared but never used, so we can go ahead and delete that, and this is probably the same. Yep, sweet. So this damage stuff that I've just added to player controller, I want to add it for the other users as well, render other users. What is the best way to do that? Sharing. Let's ask ChatGPT. The way that I phrase this question will be interesting as well. I don't know if they'll be able to answer it, but I'll be like, let me zoom this in as well. Give me some tips for sharing methods into React components that use hooks into separate React components. So yeah, this question isn't worded very nicely. How do you spell separate? So I don't know if it'll do a good job at answering, but like that's pretty much what I'm trying to ask. When sharing methods that use hooks in two separate React components, there are a few tips that can help. Use props. Keep the methods as pure as possible. Avoid side effects. This means state changes. Use custom hooks. If the shared methods rely heavily on hooks, consider extracting them into a custom hook. This can simplify the code and make it more reusable. I think this is kind of what I want. I've seen these before, but I actually don't use them as much as I should. So I think a custom hook is kind of like a shared hook that multiple components can use. Document the methods clearly. Consider creating a shared library. That's pretty cool, but I think this is what I want. Give me some examples on custom hooks. Alright, use window size. This hook returns the current size of the window. So it's a component that returns a hook. Okay, and then how is it used? I feel like I'll find something better on Google. Oh, Gustavo's come on YouTube. For real, dude, I get so amazed that I turned my laptop to see this. He was about to go to sleep with TikTok. Oh shit, I got you out of bed, Gustavo. Well, I'm glad. That seems like you must be pretty inspired. Do you like gaming? Are you a React developer yourself? Keen to hear more. I'm just learning about custom hooks in React. I feel like this is something I should know. Building your own hooks. use effect. A custom hook is a JavaScript function whose name starts with use and that may call other hooks. Set is online. Gustavo says they're a front-end dev and very enthusiastic about game dev. Awesome, Gustavo. Well, if you want to see the code base for my game, I can share it with you. Join up on the Discord and let's have a chat. It should be in my TikTok bio and maybe my YouTube bio. Let me check. It's Techfren's community. No, it's not on my... Oh yeah, it's in my link tree as well. Okay. Custom hook. So use friend status, friend ID. Oh, and it just returns it is online. Okay. So if we made a custom hook for damage, like we'd call it use current damage. Okay. And then no, we'd still need all this. And we already have it here. Okay. Well, I might just copy it here without trying to make it perfect. There's a certain limit that I try to spend on like refactoring and stuff because it is a good thing to do, but at the end of the day, like delivering on functionality kind of takes a preference at this current stage. Then like best code practices. So let's just copy some stuff over. Where this damage number is like instantiated here, right under the health bar. We'll probably do the same with the other user. Just under the health bar, current damage. And this is all wrapped in an empty DOM element. Okay. Probably need to import that. Yep. And we also need damage to render and remove damage to render, as well as health and current damage. We should probably already do have health. Yep. But we'll add, oh, we already have damage to render as well. Makes sense because the health does get smaller. Okay. And then what do we have here? The expired damage numbers. And the set damage. I think we can just, yeah, kind of just copy this like that. All right, let's see if it complains. Yes, it does. Doesn't even render. Why is that? Reference there. Any is not defined. Oh, is this a JSX element? What? Oh, wow. That's another issue I have. I have some JSX, some TSX elements. What now? User connection ID is not defined. What was that called before? Connection. Just connection ID. I guess because it's not the user. Bull Bashby, welcome. Alright, okay. That seems to be working now. Can I hit another user? Hello. Oh, other user. Hit. Oh, no, instant crash. Obj is not defined. Where is that? Obj. Wait, what? Render of the user 181. Oh, here. Copied scene. Okay. Try number 2. Attack. Yay! Now they both show damage dealt. Every time I click it shows another one. That's a bug. But it's progress. I'm gonna push this to production. And then fix the bugs later. Alright, let's see the changes. Remove some stuff and added damage number to other users. Push. Sweet. And this should actually push it live. If I log into what's that? Cloudflare, which is what I'm using for the front end. And then we can all combat each other. I just need to work on the death. Let's see. Here's Cloudflare. Wait, pages, please. Is this pages? Why would it say workers? Pages. In progress. Oh, I didn't merge it to main. Merge. Push. Sick. Because right now I think it's deploying on some other thing, damage name branch, which is like a whole nother I don't know how you get it, but a whole nother domain. I don't know how you see the domain names. Custom domains. Yeah. Oh, you can see all the deployments. Wow, they keep them? Why would they do that? So you can see different versions? That's insane. What? I mean, I guess it's only like a few hundred kilobytes or something. Still pretty insane. So every single commit I have has its own subdomain. With, as like a snapshot of where the code was at. So I bet if we go far enough there would be no health bar. Yeah, like look at this. Let's see how far back I can go. The first deploy, what did it look like? It probably looked exactly the same. Oh, it looks kind of different, like it's zoomed out heaps. And there's no health bar, and there's no attack option on the giant. There should never be, and you can't click the tree. But on the latest one you can click the tree. Doesn't do anything, but you can attempt harvest a tree, you can attempt attack NPC. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm just pushing the latest and greatest combat mechanics into my game. It's in progress. Actually, this will be it. Let's open 2 of these and fight each other. You guys reckon left window will win or right window? I got my money on left window. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, definitely left window has an advantage. And they are winning. But RNG could come in right window's favor. Left window's still winning. It's confusing because left window is actually right. Pocahontas. Oh yeah. Left window just won. Slight just. And that's probably because I clicked earlier. Okay. Gustavo says there's something like this in Google Cloud as well. Yeah, nice. I guess this is just CI/CD essentially. Just drinking some more tea while this deploys. But yeah, that's it. I think next I'm gonna do the death mechanics. When someone loses health, what happens? That's a good question. I think they should just reset at the start. But that's like... Hold on, let me bring up this board. Death mechanics. Play death, player resets, player plays death animation, then resets with full health at starting position, let's just say. That's the requirements. Just, whoa. Let's remove that. So it's quite clear here. How am I gonna do this? Okay, on death, I think we're gonna have to do this in the backend. Chat.js, where the damage is calculated right here. Deal damage. Made this method that updates the database with the damage dealt. I need to check to see if the health of the player reaches 0. Now, Mohammed says it's too hard to read the code and learn from it. Is it because it's too small or just like too messy code? Mohammed. I know there's ways to like trigger functions from something changing in Lambda. Oh, it was too small. Yeah, sorry. I hope it's better now, Mohammed. I think I can go a little bit bigger, but yeah. Pretty much this is a deal damage method in my backend. It's written in Node.js in a Lambda function on AWS. and it gets a DynamoDB reference and updates the rows to deal damage to the health of a player when someone attacks. Thank you so much for the roses, Mohammed. Really appreciate it. And now what I want to do is, like, when enough damage is dealt, the player reaches 0 health, and we want to restart the player back to full health in a different location. So I'm just thinking about how I'm going to do that. At the moment, there's no way for the server to interact with the to like move the player. All the front end, all the movement of the position of the player is actually done with through the front end. So like I could click anywhere and it does update my position to the back end, but there's no verification of if I'm allowed to move there, and there's no way for the server to tell the front end, be like, okay, now take the user back to the center. So that's kind of what I need to implement now. Yeah. As you can see, like I feel the advertising feels pretty good. Ooh, is this someone else? Hello. Like the position advertising, like if you look on the left screen, it's kind of accurate. If I try to walk up to my character and just viciously attack them, bam, bam, I can do that. You couldn't do that a week ago, but now you see there's damage, the health is getting less. This is a new feature added today, pretty much. Alright, that's enough. That's enough attacking. Oh, there's a bug here. The user keeps attacking on another user's screen even though they've stopped attacking. But I'm too lazy to fix that at the moment. I'm just gonna leave that. It's not a game breaking bug, it just looks shit. And I'm trying to like just get the core gameplay mechanics down as fast as I can and just try to iterate on that and make it so fun as possible, because that's what really matters in the end of the day, is like the core mechanics of the game. If they're fun to play and not annoying, that's what's going to make a successful game, in my opinion. So back to my original question of how to make the death mechanics, and my idea is something like triggering code on a DynamoDB row value at when a DynamoDB row hits a specific value. So how do we do that? So let's ChatGPT. That's how we do that in the 23rd century. 2023, we asked ChatGPT, how do I trigger a lambda function from when a value in a DynamoDB table reaches a specific number? Let's see that. CloudWatch events, apparently. You can create a CloudWatch event in the events console. Now I'm using this package called serverless, which helps me define all my backend code, all my backend through code, like infrastructure as code, in YAML files. So I'm gonna have to ask, how do I do this? And then it dies, so I'm just going to Google it. CloudWatch, what were they called? CloudWatch events. in serverless. AWS Lambda events. I think this is what I want. Simple event definition. So you define it in your functions. Might have to watch a video on this, if there is any. Serverless CloudWatch event. Oh, I got a notification. Is anyone commenting? Gustavo for the subscription. Thank you so much. How to schedule Lambda function using CloudWatch. This is pretty much what I want. I might just watch that video, but it's not a serverless specific video, which is annoying. Ooh, Ben A with serverless doesn't make sense. Clickbait. He's really good at YouTube videos. I'll give him that.
Lambda function using CloudWatch event rules. Okay, so basically we will have a Lambda function and we will use CloudWatch to run the Lambda function on a periodic manner, say like every 5 minutes or every 1 hour, like whatever you need. Okay, so these are the steps that we need.
Alright, hold on. I think ChatGPT can write this for me. Start a new chat. Write serverless YAML to make a new row in a DynamoDB table when to update a row in a DynamoDB table when its health value reaches 0 using CloudWatch events. What? No, is ChatGPT down, dude? Are you serious right now? That is so annoying. I'm glad I'm not like fully reliant on it, but it's just still, come on, I would have loved for this to work. Oh, it did work. Okay, sweet. Okay, service provider functions. This is what we want. CloudWatch event. Source AWS health. Let me try again. I'll try give it my YAML, like definitions, and like, so for instance, I got the database. Does it have health? No, it doesn't. We can give it. Should it be a query? Fuck this. I don't know how it's defined. Let's do this again. How do they do it? So, source CloudWatch event. CloudWatch event source AWS EC2. Oh, I don't want it to be EC2. For a DynamoDB item key value change. Maybe this isn't the right way to do it. CloudWatch events. resource function stream. Function of, oh no, wait, what? What is this? Function event stream. In this example, we define my function that is triggered by the changes in a DynamoDB stream. What is the DynamoDB stream? That's the first time I'm hearing about that. We set the batch size to 1 to ensure the function is invoked only once per change. Tell me more about DynamoDB Stream and how to use it with serverless. DynamoDB Streams provides a time-ordered sequence of item-level modifications. Hectic. When you enable streams for a table, the service writes a stream record for every modification, including new item updates and deletions. Each stream record contains information about the item that was modified as well as the modification that was made. Okay, so we have some choices to make here, because this seems like if I enable this, it might end up being worse than if I was just to trigger the check from the actual damage deal function itself, rather than relying on a stream to trigger the death logic after the damage deal function using like some separate stream thing. I could just trigger from the initial function, the damage deal function that was called. And that's what I think I'll do. Like, I thought maybe this separate way would be better design, but I'm starting to realize that it might not be the case. So if I go back into the code of where I did the damage deal damage, right before I update, I need to before or after? Probably before. Otherwise you could have minus damage, minus health. Or you could deal damage after the respawn. I think I'm gonna go with after for now, but I don't know if that's the right decision. Gustavo, thanks. You're heading off. Great coding, thank you. Thanks for watching the stream, thanks for the subscription. Alright, so after the deal damage update, we should, I'm just gonna write a comment here, check for player death. Check for 0 health death. Okay. How do we do that? We're gonna have to do a new DynamoDB dot get, I think. Kind of like, where is that? DynamoDB dot query. Is that how we'll do it? I don't think we need to query. I think we can like get it straight away because we have the PK and the SK, so we can just ask ChatGPT, write JavaScript for getting DynamoDB item using PK and SK. Yo C joined. Yo C, I see you. Yo C. Params. Oh, it's just a get with the params here. Okay, sweet. Let's put that to the side. Where to go? Here. Const get params equals. Copy this. And actually, I wonder if I could use the same parameters with just a DynamoDB get. That get row params. Oh, error data. If console.error couldn't get user item after deal damage, else console.log received item after damage data.item. Okay. Now if I just restart the server, I think that should print out the user data every time I deal damage. Let's see. That's not the local. Got some connections. I'm gonna deal some damage. Boom. Received item after damage undefined. Interesting. Maybe item needs a capital or something. Let's try again. I think I might need to restart this. Hilmanshu Garg on YouTube, welcome. Hello, thank you for commenting. How can I help you today? We are coding this MMO game similar to RuneScape, inspired by a RuneScape. Right now I'm just testing some things to eventually program a death mechanic. Okay, nice. So we actually successfully got the item after, it was a capital I, after I hit someone. So now let's just print the health. Data.item question mark dot health. Gonna make sure I can get the health here, and I also want to make sure it goes down after every time the player is hit. So let's see. Hilmanshu asks, how many years have you been coding? Yeah, a long time, like since I was in primary school making Flash games. So that would be, I reckon I was like 7 or 8, and now I'm 29, so 22 years. Wow, that's a long time. But obviously I didn't do it the whole time, and I wasn't doing it professionally for a long time. So, but yeah, since I started coding for the first time, 22 years. Okay, sweet. The damage of the health is going down. So that's all working nicely. Now, let's bring this back up bigger so we can see. Here I get the health. Now I want to do if the health is less than or equal to 0. Here we commence death mechanics. I was gonna say do death mechanics. So what are the death mechanics? 1, reset player who died's position. and 2 drop, no, actually 1 should be drop items of player on ground. We haven't actually incorporated any items yet, so that's not going to be done. Does this need one of these? And then 3 reset players health to full. Now the problem with step 2 is, as I said before, there's no logic in the front end or the back end that actually there is on the front end. There is, I was gonna say there's no logic on the front end that that it can like update the player's position. The player's position is always updated only by the front end at this moment, which was obviously a temporary thing. Sorry, I'm just trying to stretch here. My legs are sore. So, we need to fix that. It'll actually be easy to do with the other player, so if you look at this same file, if I go into update, send update, here where we send for every other connection, we send the broadcast update. We need to do a similar thing with like the death broadcasting, the death position broadcasting. Himanshu asked, what do you do for a living? I'm a full stack software developer, software engineer. I don't know, I change the title every couple of years, but at the moment, yeah, full stack developer. So I need to do this post to connection thing, so I mean we could only do that maybe. Post to connections, and this one is update database item. This one will be easy, number 3. We could do that. We could do that right now just by copying this, because we already do the opposite here. We update the row with health minus damage, but now we can do health equals full health. Hilmanshu says, I've also learning backend, but I'm not able to make logic on my own. What should I do? You're not able to make logic on your own. Like, do you know what you want to implement, but you don't know how? Or you can't even get the right, like, theory down? I'm not sure if... trying to think of some good advice for that. I think definitely figuring out the questions to ask is great. So if you can figure out just like what you need to do, ask some questions to either Google or ChatGPT and try to get the right answer and keep searching and trying, you'll get there eventually. Of course it's going to be hard at the start, but the more time you put into it, the better you'll be. Yossi asked, do you use ChatGPT for work? Yeah, I love ChatGPT. As you see tonight, I don't know if you've been watching for more than, does it say what time I sent this message? It doesn't. If you've been watching for more than like, I don't know, 10 minutes, you've probably seen me ask ChatGPT a whole bunch of questions. I think it's awesome. I think large language models are awesome. Before, I would always Google these kind of questions, but in some cases, if you know how to ask, or even if you don't, like ChatGPT can give you code that's copyable pretty fast, like really easily. So I love it. Yeah. Okay, so here's the logic that he'll match you another thing. I just looking at this, if you can write your logic that you want in just plain English or whatever language you prefer, it can be a lot easier to then, convert that to code. Ilmanshu says, whenever I get an error, I get depressed. This is their messages. Sorry, I haven't been showing everyone, but they asked how many years have I been coding. So, and I told them that the first time I started coding was 22 years ago. So I've been doing this for a long time. So you gotta have some patience as well, and not expect to be like pretty good at straight away. Whenever you get error, you get depressed. Yeah, errors can be really frustrating, especially if you take a long time on the same error. But solving an error can feel pretty good too. So you just gotta. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And it's getting easier. More people are doing it. Donnie says, is ChatGPT good or bad for students? It really depends on how they're using it. It can be very good and it can be quite bad. For their learning, it can be good for like producing what they want and getting what they want, and it can be good for learning too. But if they rely on the answers and they just copy paste without reading, obviously they're not going to learn much. But if they keep asking questions that they have and like checking if that's true with other sources and coming up with plans, you can really use ChatGPT for the greater good. Students as well, especially. Yeah. So what should I do here? Alright, yeah, I was gonna update the item with full health. So that should be easy. I'll just copy these lines because it's gonna be very similar to this. Reset health params. Connection ID health equals. I'm just gonna hard code 30 here, but obviously we will need to change that in the future to be a different health number based on which character or which player. But right now all the health is maximum 30, so we can just hard code that in. 6. So if they reach 0, we will reset the health to 30. Okay, so this, I think for step 2 and step 3 to be updated in the front end. Sorry, I got a burp heaps. We need some kind of thing in the front end that updates the state every some time with the database, or we have the server post WebSocket messages to all the clients to update, like a separate message, or the same one, potentially the same one. Yeah. So where I send deal damage, I might be also sending the other connection IDs. So I can send the WebSocket connection, all of the connections, the update, right? I think so. Another way to do it is just to update this same message that we're gonna send anyway because they're already sending a message to all the connections. So might as well utilize that. User547 asks, what are you coding, a browser game? That is correct, User547. The browser game that I'm coding is called Berry Game. You can play it on alpha.berrygame.com. You can walk around, chat, hello TikTok, and soon you'll be able to harvest the tree. You can follow this NPC, and if another user logs in, you can attack them now. It's a new feature I added only today. What kind of? So here, I've logged in on another account, on another window, and I can go attack. Oh, and you see there's damage, and the health's dropping, and then this character can attack back. Punch on. Boom, boom, boom. And yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to work on right now the death mechanics. User547 asks, you can do that 3D browser game? Wow, yeah. So it's using this technology called 3JS or webgl. It's like a 3D library for JavaScript. If you're interested, look into that. I'm using a bunch of Medal of Honor. Let's check this out. I'm using a bunch of libraries on top of that for React called React 3 Fiber and ZooStand and stuff. Let's see what this game is. Hoping for some 3D games. Oculus.com. Oh wow. Scroll through a 3D. It's kind of 3D made up of 2D though, but still. That's enough of that. So I'm working on the death mechanics now. So, yeah. How do I do this? We can return. Oh, yes. We can return. Damage given. No. Wait, where does the damage given? Let's have a look at the front end. Damage given. How does that work in the front end? If attacking player, add damage, damage given. That makes sense. And it updates the position of a user. How does it do that? With the connection ID. So it only updates the position of the user that's attacking, so that won't really help. So we'll have to make a new WebSocket call to all the clients. Right? I'm not sure. I might have to think about this one. I'm thinking like instead of doing it from there, we do it from somewhere else. A lot of these questions of like where to put code. I'm pretty happy with the reset health staying here. You'll see roughly how long would it take for someone to go from a junior developer to an intermediate developer? Roughly I'd say 3 to 5 years, I think, is the like amount of years, at least in my city, in my country, in Australia, junior developers normally have 0 to 3 years experience. Intermediate developers have like 3 to 5, and senior developers have like 6 plus. But that also varies company to company, and it's like very rough. But generally, like if you want a rough gauge, that's what I'd say. And those years is like commercial full-time experience. So if you're working full-time as a software developer for 3 years, you'll probably be transitioning into an intermediate developer at that stage. Just gonna pour myself some tea. Feel free to ask any more questions, guys. Give us a follow if you want to see more software development, or let me know what kind of content you want to see. What inspires you? I inspired someone earlier today that didn't know you could do 3D gaming in the browser using front-end technologies. They said they were laying in bed and they saw this stream and they got out of bed on the laptop and they just couldn't believe the type of stuff you can do now with 3D in the browser. Shouts out to Gustavo. They're probably back in bed sleeping now. I got a message from Himanshu that asks, how much do you earn in a month? At my previous full-time job, well, it's my current job as well, I guess. In a month, after taxes, I'd be earning about about 9 grand Australian, which is like maybe almost 5 grand American. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty high for, I'd say, average jobs of my skill level. And yeah, in Australia. In America, you can earn a lot more at these big tech companies, and you can learn a lot more in Australia as well, but it's not as common, I don't think. I think on average my salary was pretty high given the circumstances. Okay. Reset health params. Okay, reset player's health to full. That is that. Yossi asks, I'm a junior at a consulting company, so we shift a lot between projects. Is that a good environment for a junior? Yeah, definitely. So I've got a lot of experience in consulting environments as well. That was a lot of my work done at consulting firms, and I'd say it really depends on the firm a lot of the time, like a lot of good things or bad things. But if you're specifically asking about shifting between a lot of projects, I think that's really good for a junior, actually, and not really a bad thing at all, because it gives you experience in different projects, hopefully different technology, maybe ideally, and you can see what type of stuff you like and what you don't like. And doing that early is really good, because then once you figure out what you like, you can go all in on that and make big money doing what you actually like, rather than in the opposite situation. If you were stuck doing the same project, you wouldn't have the experience and opportunities to see different things you might like, and you might think that this is something you like, but then later on you realize, you might not like it as much, or I don't know, I didn't explain that last bit too well, but I think you guys would get what I mean. In dollars, Himanshu, yeah, I think it'd be about like 5,000 American a month after tax. Sweet Yossi, I'm happy that that explanation helped you. Donnie, welcome back. Janice, welcome. Ask any questions, guys. I feel like a lot of my viewers are junior software developers, so I don't know what kind of content I should be making more. I feel like this, just watching me code, it's a good environment and stuff, but I worry that it's too specific and further down the line for most people. If I was a junior developer, what kind of content would I want to be seeing? Probably more inspiring stuff, like showing you different possibilities and ways to use technology and coding to do cool things that you might like, which is kind of what I'm doing overall. Like I think it's very cool to make 3D games. Ibi asked, what are you making right now? Yeah, so I'm making this MMO game called Berry Game. It's, if you want to play it, it's on alpha.berrygame.com. I'm just using web technologies. Massively multiplayer game. I hope. Himanshu asked, at what age did you start earning? Let's see. My first kind of tech job was at my mum's dental practice, where I helped the boss of the practice with some tech stuff like their website and updating images and making like a presentation for the lobby in the waiting room. That was probably my first paid job as like a tech person. There was some programming there, like HTML stuff on the website, but it was more just configuring WordPress and making images and stuff. Ibi says, I'm trying to learn Unity, but it's hard. Can you recommend anything? Yeah, I actually really like Unity. It can be hard. Which bits did you find hard? Feel free to ask more questions about that and I can help. But I do have this one tip with Unity, and I made a video on it, I think. And that was to use the asset store. So the Unity asset store, you can download like pre-made games, and instead of you like putting all this effort making a game from scratch, you can actually just like modify one of these pre-made games, and you'll still learn a bit of like how it's set up and what to modify and stuff, and then you can take that knowledge and eventually build your own games from scratch if you want to. Let me try find it. Yeah, this one. Question from Dragoti. What do you recommend for beginners to start learning and practicing programming? Do something you enjoy. There's many different. This one. Where is it? Maybe I didn't upload it. I swear I did. Oh no, it is that question one. From Dragoti. What do you recommend for beginners to start learning and practicing programming? Do something you enjoy. There's many different ways of learning programming, but if you enjoy it, that's the best. So like, what do you want to make? For me, it was games. So I think a really good way to learn is just by YouTube. Beginner JavaScript. Has made a video in 9 series. Look at like Unity or Unreal Engine, 2 of the most popular gaming engines. Yeah, tutorials. And another hack YouTube I should tell you about if you are going to get into game dev is to use the marketplace. It's called the asset store, where you can pretty much download pre-built games. I made my first Android game. This is my first Android game I made, Skyline Skater. It got over 10,000 downloads. I just got this endless runner game from the asset store, and I changed all the animations to skateboarding, and like I was still in university, and it was just super fun, and like a lot of the coding was done for me through the asset pack. And question from and Himanshu asked what age. Sorry, I forgot to tell you it. I was 18, I think 17 or 18 when I did that tech stuff. So yeah, not too late, not too early. Yeah, hope that helps. Feel free to ask any more questions, guys. I feel like you could probably get started earlier. Did I do anything else? The internet wasn't as, like, there wasn't as many people on the internet when I was 17 that there is now. There's definitely like way more people. Like, I don't even think the iPhone was, when was the iPhone invented? Oh no, it was definitely an iPhone then. But it, like, no one really had a smartphone. Did they? Or they were just coming out. Like, it was very early days. Like, these days there's so much opportunity on the internet. Sure, there's more competition as well. But if you just like work hard enough that you're providing a unique value and like better than the rest at something, you'll definitely, or not even better than the rest, but like good enough, you can make money just like on, I don't know, like what, Fiverr, and you can find ways. I don't know, this isn't really a make money channel, but it is a software dev channel, so it is related. My idea, like, I mean, I'm definitely not one to be giving that advice at the moment, because ideally eventually I want to monetize my game as well, but it's something I haven't put too much thought into. My idea at the moment is I just want to make a really good free-to-play experience, and then we can have a pay-to-play layer on top of that, similar to how RuneScape originally had the members on top of free-to-play. Yeah. So I'm still pretty much where I left off with this death mechanics. We can remove this drop. Actually, no, we'll leave it there. But this reset player who's died's position is what we need to work on next. Yossi asks, what's the job market like in Australia? Do they require a degree or do they not care about experience? Yeah, it's quite varied, Yossi. Some jobs require a degree, but I'd say most of them would care more about experience for sure. Like, a degree is useful if you have no experience because it's something, but experience is definitely the most important. Like, if you have like a couple years experience at this really, you know, well-known company, it's usually more impressive, especially if the company is similar to a job you're applying to. They probably wouldn't care too much about your degree, but obviously that's not the same with all companies. Ibi asks, what engine are you using with your game? So the funny thing is, I'm not actually using any game engines. I'm using a library called React 3 Fiber, which is just like a wrapper on top of 3JS, like a React renderer for 3JS. And you know, I'm very comfortable with React, and 3JS is like the JavaScript library for 3D stuff on the web browser. So yeah, that's the current configuration. Thanks for the follow, Soke. Appreciate it. I'm here answering questions from anyone. Himanshu says, I like the way I give responses. It's polite and appreciated. No worries, Himanshu. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm here giving out as best advice as I can, trying to inspire developers, and, you know, technology is very passionate top subject for me, so hopefully spread that love and we can progress as a society. Yossi said, might have missed it, but are you back end or front end at work? At my current job, it's more front end, but I consider myself like a full stack developer. I'm probably about, like 60-40, 60% front end, 40% back end. Yeah. Ibi says, have you learnt Unity in the past? Yeah, I have, Ibi. My first game was made on Unity. Well, not my first game ever, but my first like successful game, called Skyline Skater. Not the popular Skyline Skaters, but Skyline. Actually, it might not even show. Yeah, no, it's this one. Skyline Skater. It's like an endless running game. And just like I said, like I used the Unity asset store to find an endless running game, and I made it into a skateboarding game just with like some changes, quite a lot of changes, but yeah. This one did pretty well. I got like 15,000 downloads in like a couple months that it came out. Apparently it doesn't work on my device. It should. But yeah. Yossi says, do you do any AWS stuff? Yeah, my whole backend for this game is on AWS. I use serverless to kind of define all the backend in code. Yeah. Himanshu asked, can I have a Discord link? Yeah, it's in my link tree, Himanshu. I can get it for you. It's also on my YouTube bio and my TikTok bio, but I'll link it for you here, man. No worries. Is this it? Chill coding. Let's post it in the. Is this it? YouTube chat for Himanshu. I wonder if anyone's on Twitch. I'm not getting any Twitch messages, but I'm not sure if anyone has been there or not. I'm just gonna say chatting is disabled. Oh, because I'm in Linktree. Let's see if I'm not in Linktree. Is chatting still disabled? Yo. Nope. Did you want to see some of the AWS stuff, Yossi? I can show you my console. I don't know if there's much. Let's have a look. So DynamoDB, here you'll see I'm using what they call a single table architecture. Apparently that's like the ideal way to have a DynamoDB. I traditionally come from like relational databases like SQL and MySQL, so in those the whole architecture is meant to have separate tables where you separate data from, like, I don't know, you have a users table and like a, I don't know, scores table or something, or like items table. But with DynamoDB and the research I've done, they've said put the whole application in one table, and the way you like separate stuff is like with these partition keys and sort keys, and that's how like this one's meant to be kind of configured. So you see I have here partition key for certain chat rooms, which is like essentially servers, and then sort key, different connection IDs, the time they were created, and the only really data that I store at the moment is just the health, because we don't have anything else, and a TTL, which means time to live or something, and essentially like this is all temporary, and after a certain time it will remove all these items, just so I don't have a growing database for now, because there's it's all a test and there's no real reason that I should be keeping this. Ibi says, bye, gotta go, internet is acting terribly. No worries, Ibi, thanks for joining, thank you for all the questions. I hope you have a good day or night or wherever. Is there anything else on AWS I can show? I use Lambda, but there's not really much to see here. Yeah, like pretty much I try to keep all the config and stuff inside serverless YAML. So ideally, yeah. If you don't know about serverless, it's like, let's just Google it. How do they describe themselves? It's a framework, yeah, for auto-scaling apps on AWS without having to worry about server maintenance and stuff. Get development just through, yeah. That's it. So yeah, I think I'll be wrapping up this stream pretty soon, but I'll just hang around for a few more minutes, see if anyone else has any more questions. I'll probably stream some more tomorrow as well. Ollie Q on the chat. Yo, what's up, man? Good to see you. Howdy, howdy. Let's get rowdy. You just caught me as I was wrapping up, but yeah, good to see you online. I think I'll be able to make some good clips out of this stream, so thanks everyone for the comments and questions. Yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully you'll catch me around next time, Ollie. I'll try to start the stream around this time. What are the results of this stream? So I just deployed a bit more of the combat mechanics into my MMO game. This is it, alpha.berrygame.com. Right now there's health bars and you can do damage to other players. So yeah, that's new. And I was about to work on the death mechanics, but that took quite a while, and it'll probably be comprised of multiple streams. So a little earlier, am I using React for this? Yes, I am. I'm using React Free Fiber, and serverless for the backend. Yeah, React's 3D support is getting pretty good. Well, it's like a React wrapper on top of 3JS. I'm sure you've heard of 3JS, but yeah, there's like a React wrapper called React 3 Fiber, and that's what I'm using here. Yeah, 3JS. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking about Unity. If you guys like Unity game dev, you should definitely follow Ollie Q. He has some cool games that he's made, and yeah, just cool projects for sure. Great content. So check him out. Yeah, alright, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Committed to sticking to TypeScript only for my future interactive projects. Nice. That's good. I've made the mistake of having both TypeScript and normal JavaScript in my code base. So I still haven't made the transition fully, but you know, trying to embrace it as much as I can. Yeah. Top 10 things that feel illegal that aren't yet. Definitely feels illegal, but you know, been getting away with it, so it's okay. Yeah, nice to catch you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you guys next stream.